Well, only once before have Liverpool sealed a place in the knockout stages of the Champions League with 2 group games to spare, but they can achieve that feat tonight if they can maintain their 100% start to Group D. As it's match day 4 of this season's Champions League, and it's Liverpool against Atalanta at Anfield from 8 o'clock this evening. Yeah, very good evening to you. Welcome along to the Matchday Live preview. And for the 3rd successive season, Liverpool face Italian opposition in the Champions League group stages. Last couple of years, it has been Napoli, and very sadly, in the last hour or so, their greatest ever player, one of the greatest players to play the game, Diego Maradona, has sadly passed away at the age of 60. Stephen Warnock and Jason McAteer are with me. And Jason, you'll have seen him play much more than Stephen did, and we were talking before we came on air, in your opinion, the greatest to have played.
Yeah, I'm always one of these people that thinks when we talk about players, it's a generational thing. Stephen, it might be someone else, but for me growing up, you know, the World Cups, 86 stands out, 90 stands out. You know, he was the star of 86 for Argentina, 90, then 94 I played in it, and he was with America when he was having his problems as well. But, you know, we were talking about the documentary off air and the Napoli days, you know, the hand of God, but he was just an all-complete footballer for me. You know, what he did in 86, you know, he just proved he was the best footballer ever. It's obviously debatable between him and Pele, and like I said, Stephen might throw someone else in the mix, but for me, the greatest.
Yeah, and Stephen, often for English football fans, the hand of God always clouds, I guess, the judgment of Diego Maradona. But the other goal in that game just proves the point that Jason made, that some players are simply capable of things that others can't do.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. And that game, when you look at the surface and you look at the pitches now and you think, to dribble a ball and that quality, that speed, close to you, defenders diving in, but you weren't just beating average players, you were beating top quality players in that England team, and you just think, for him to ghost past them like he did and sort of score arguably one of the greatest goals that's ever been scored, I think it just shows you the quality that he possessed. I wish I'd have seen more of him. I think we all probably wish we'd have seen him playing now on better pitches, and sort of how he'd compare with the modern day footballers. And
I guess the other way that you judge a great player, Jason, is that when they go to a club which perhaps aren't historically fashionable, like he did at Napoli. They were no great shakes at the time, and he turned them into winners both within Serie A and on the European stage as well.
Yeah, well, he was a maverick, wasn't he? So, you know, to sign him, you were always probably taking a chance, although his quality was always there, his talent was always there. It was how it was going to be brought out. You know, some managers can do it, but he was just a natural, wasn't he? Wherever he was going to go, he was going to be brilliant. You know, the documentary, if you watch it, is fascinating behind the scenes. Look at how his life was in Napoli. It was turbulent, it was difficult, maybe suited his lifestyle and maybe suited his attitude, really, and that brought the best out of him. But, you know, to sing it single-handedly, and I'll go back to it, win the World Cup in 1986 for Argentina, it just epitomises how good he was, to be honest. And like Stephen said, it's a shame. I mean, I didn't get to see him play live. I've been lucky enough to see Messi, and that's been brilliant, but I really missed out not seeing him.
And often a lot of is made of his off-field problems, the issues that maybe he had in his life, Stephen. But I think probably sometimes it's very difficult for people to understand, I guess, a weight of expectation. He was carrying Argentina on his shoulders for long parts of his life, and started off so young. He was playing professional football at the age of 15. Yeah,
I think obviously everyone knew his talent and what he was about, and they saw him as the hope, didn't they, of Argentinian football. And I think when you've got that, you're carrying that burden on your shoulders, and you are perceived as this godlike figure, how difficult that must be to roll out every single day in normal day life. I mean, you see modern day footballers now walking around, and you see people glaring at them, taking photos, and the way they smother them, don't they? And you imagine Maradona walking around in modern day town with camera phones and things like that, but at the peak of his powers, that pressure that must have been on him. And you just think I mean, you can understand why he did succumb to it, and why it was so hard for him, and why he went for down a bad path, if you like.
It goes without saying that everyone at Liverpool Football Club sends their best wishes to Diego Maradona's family. He is and was a fantastic footballer, one of the greats, and he has sadly passed away at the age of 60. On to tonight, Jason, and we touched on it as we introed the show that this is a big opportunity for Liverpool with the games coming thick and fast over the next couple of months to get this job done and sorted within 4 games.
Yeah, it's been slightly different from seasons gone by, the group stages, hasn't it? We have struggled slightly in the group stages, but obviously gone on to win it, reach another final. But this year has been different. You know, we've won 3 games without conceding. It's been pretty easy. Dispatched Atalanta, who could have been a real problem, and Ajax, to be honest, with ease. You know, arguably the best performance this season for me. The Atalanta game, I thought Liverpool were absolutely outstanding. It puts them in this position now with 9 points. If they win today, they're home and dry near enough, and you know they can rest players for the final couple of games, and you know obviously give players experience as well. That's always a good thing. But like you said, with the amount of fixtures that are coming up, you know the manager will be thinking, if I can rest some key players for these games, it'll be a welcome relief.
Superb in the reverse game, weren't they?
Outstanding, and probably a worry going out there, and people were looking at it saying this could be a real difficult game for Liverpool, and it could be one of those games where you look at and think, if you're not on your game, you can get caught out. We saw what they did in the Champions League last year. Okay, they've lost a few players, and the start to the league campaign in Serie A hasn't been outstanding. But it's Champions League nights are always difficult. Listen, it probably would have been a tougher night had there been a crowd in there. But Liverpool have made the most of that opportunity.
Let me put you on the spot then. Which game do you think was better, Jason? That one or the one we saw on Sunday, a 3-0 victory over Leicester, where again the champions excellent. This is better, you think?
Yeah, to go away to this team, and we built the game up. This is a team that scored 98 goals last season. You know, they leak a few at the back, but you've still got to exploit them, and you've still got to score the goals and be clinical. And away from home can be very, very difficult. You know, especially in Champions League. And like Stephen alluded to, they were fantastic last year in this competition. So it was always going to be tough, but we made it look so easy. We were so clinical. Jota with his hat-trick, we changed formation. We were slightly different. I mean, they played such a high line, and we're seeing the goals now. The amount of times we got in with that ball sliced through the middle, Jota's pace getting in behind, there was so much space there. We just exploited that and, you know, made it look so easy on the night. They made it look easy, but it wasn't, and I think that was why I'm going to go for the Atalanta performance. It reminded me of the Bayern Munich performance a couple of seasons ago, where it was almost a perfect away European performance.
Well, Atalanta will of course hope for revenge at Anfield this evening. Let's head across to the ground and join Mark Benstead.
Good evening, welcome to Anfield. Well, Liverpool have a pretty big opportunity in front of themselves this evening. A win tonight secures their passage through to the knockout rounds of the Champions League with 2 games to spare. That'll be the first time that they've done that, well, since 2006-2007. In fact, that was the only time that the Reds have done that in the Champions League. So a big chance for Liverpool to ease some of the burden on the forthcoming fixtures, a chance to rotate the squad in the coming games if they can get the job done tonight. Atalanta, though, need a win tonight as well to boost their hopes in this competition, but also to kind of lift their season. Their form recently has dipped, draws in the last 2 games. They sit 7th in Serie A. Coming into this game, Antonio Percassi, the Atalanta president, has spoken about this place being a university of football, and it's fair to say that Liverpool did dish out a bit of a lesson to Atalanta in the first meeting between the two sides. That 5-0 drubbing over in Italy certainly caught the eye. Coming into this game, they are boosted by the fact that Gianpiero Gasparini, their coach, has signed a new contract until 2023. They also have some players back that missed the first game. Number 1 keeper Pierluigi Gallini is back available. He'd missed all the season until the weekend just gone, so he's back available to play in goal potentially. Robin Gosens, the German fullback, is also available for this game. He missed the first meeting, and he has good memories of playing on Merseyside, let's put it that way. He scored against Everton in 2017 at Goodison in the Europa League. Liverpool, in contrast, where Jurgen Klopp has few options to pick at the back, but up front he's got a slightly better headache, it's fair to put it that way. And based upon his performance of the weekend, Bobby Firmino has certainly put his hand up for selection in this game and given the manager something to think about.
Bob is incredibly important. He plays like 12 instruments in our orchestra, so it's important, incredibly important for our rhythm. Thank God we can play without him as well, but it's nice to have him on the pitch. And if you look at the numbers, obviously I like it a lot having him on the pitch because he played pretty often. So I'm not concerned about anything and with Bobby, but I know that from time to time it helps if you score a goal, and this goal was very important. But what I love most about the goal is the reaction of the boys. When you saw the celebration, we always celebrate goals, obviously, but the celebration for that goal was nearly emotional because obviously the players read newspapers unfortunately, and saw that there was some criticism, and so they were really happy for him to score that goal, and it felt absolutely just right that he scored it. But how important it is to us, you saw us a couple of times playing, so you know how important it is, so I don't have to mention that.
Looking ahead to the game, we'll check on the team news and whether Mo Salah is available.
Mo trained with the team yesterday, it looked really good. So test was negative as well, so all the tests were negative, so that's now, he's, if nothing changed since yesterday, then he's available, which is good. But now we have to, of course, to see what we do with that, because he was in quarantine, obviously, until 3 days ago, I think.
Just to have a look on a slightly wider point, Stephen, it's 8 games unbeaten now for Liverpool since that 7-2 defeat at Aston Villa. Do you think they're getting enough credit for that, given the number of absentees and the number of issues they've had over that period?
Well, they've just been given question or been thrown up problem after problem. There's been questions asked of them. How's the mentality of the squad? Can they deal with the injuries? They've shown that they can. But not only have they done it, they've won the games, they've won some of them comfortably. And you think, well, people came in and sort of said, they're going to struggle now. This is going to be Liverpool's time where it's an opportunity for other teams to excel in the league or in the Champions League. And they've just got a togetherness now and a belief within themselves that, OK, if we lose a player, there's an adequate replacement coming in. If we lose another one, there's someone else who'll step up to it. But I remember the reason I talk about that is I went to the Lincoln game, and when I was watching the game and you had the youngsters coming in and the fringe players, you wouldn't have known the difference in the style of the first team playing and the backup players. And it just shows you what's going on the training ground. Is when they step onto the pitch, everyone knows what is expected of them. They carry out the jobs and they do it extremely well.
There's a few things that have stood out for me. I think the versatility of the manager and the fact that he can change the formation. You know, we can change it up. We can go 4-2-3-1. We can go 4-3-3. Like Stephen said, when you lose big players, the players that have come in have stepped up to the mark. I mean, the defensive record we've had since losing Van Dijk has been phenomenal. It's kind of like you throw adversity at this bunch of players and they will step up to it, won't they? They will answer the questions. It's kind of a challenge for them. And we've won ugly. We've won fantastically well at Atalanta. We've done brilliant against Leicester. You know, we've had the kitchen sink thrown at us. We've taken it. We've won games in all different manners, in all different areas. It's been really impressive since that Villa game.
Well, Jason said it there, key players missing, and that's almost underselling it. You might have seen today that the FIFA list of the 11 players of the year, 4 outfield players for that, 3 of them were missing on Sunday. And to beat a team who a lot of people were talking up as potential title contenders and, as Jason said, beat them pretty comfortably, I mean, that says a lot about the players that are being asked to maybe play out of position, play more games than they should be because of tiredness at the moment.
Yeah, possibly. I think we have to also say about Leicester, they were missing key players as well. I think this is a season where a lot of teams are going to miss a fair chunk of players, aren't they? Some of the squad are going to be hit hard. But when you lose the key players that Liverpool have lost, and you're talking about your defensive central partnership, now to lose that, most teams would be hit hard and go, "Whoa, we're in big trouble here." But it's almost like they've almost gone, right, concentration levels have to be higher on the pitch. There's almost that arrogance when Van Dijk plays. Van Dijk's there, we'll be okay, we'll get away with it. But now it's got to the point where we don't have Van Dijk, we've got to close down harder up like the top of the field. If it gets through them, the midfield, we're not letting them go in at our defence. And then it gives them time to switch on and get the concentration levels up. I just think that the players who are on the fringes, it's almost like what you're saying that we can't cope with them without Van Dijk. OK, well, we'll prove you wrong. And I think it's been brilliant.
One of the things that struck me actually when I was driving home from the game on Sunday, in terms of what we'd spoken about post-match, careful, is that we'd done post-match and we'd not really mentioned the fact that Diogo Jota had scored. Of course, he scored a hat-trick in the game against Atalanta, but it's almost becoming like, oh, Diogo, like we talk about Mo Salah or Sadio Mane, oh, they've scored again. Yeah,
you're right. I mean, we just didn't touch on it at all, did we? And it was another
great run. It's a great
move,
header.
Yeah, a great header. He anticipated well. But that's what happens when you're in form. When you're a player who's, you know, on the end of chances. The Atalanta game, he gets a hat-trick, and it's just kicked on from there, hasn't he? And he feels he just feels comfortable now being at Anfield. It can take a while to settle in, can't it? It can be intimidating. I think maybe the fact that the fans aren't in the ground might have helped him a little bit. You know, you can think of it from that point of view. But he's just found a place in the team. You know, he's going to be worrying, am I going to get in? How much football am I going to play? You know, there's plenty of players in the wings who haven't played a lot of football. I was reading about Minamino today and big questions being asked about him. But he's got in, he's taken his opportunity. But he, like Stephen said, he looks like he's a player who's been there forever, doesn't he?
I feel sorry for him.
Minamino?
Yeah. No, Jota.
Jota.
In what sense?
Imagine scoring that many goals and no one having singing your name.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be a hero in
yeah.
the Cup now, wouldn't you? Imagine every time you score and when you're coming out, they're singing your name. He hasn't had that yet as a Liverpool player. And, I mean, I never got my name sang, but imagine that feeling.
I did, but it wasn't in a good way.
Yeah, but what I mean is, to get that adulation from your fans is what you're joining the club for at this stature as well, isn't it? And to step out on the pitch. And he's getting confidence from the way he's playing. But when you've got 60,000 fans singing your name, your confidence grows even more. So I think he's got still more to show us.
He's another versatile player as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Which has given us great options if we want to change things about. He can play as a lone striker, you know, which he showed against, you know, Atalanta. His pace, it was quality. He can play on the right, he can play on the left. I even think you could put him in the midfield three if you wanted to, left or right. I think he's got that versatility.
And finally, just quickly, a word on Atalanta, and we spoke about the way that Liverpool put them away in Bergamo, but they still are a dangerous team. They could have had a couple of goals in that game, to be fair to them, and they will come here knowing that if they can get a shock result, it puts them in the box seat to join Liverpool in the last 16.
Yeah, they are. They're very dangerous going forward. I mean, Mark was talking there about their last couple of games, a couple of draws, but they're still creating opportunities, sort of creating 10 opportunities a game. That shows you that they are a danger, but they're always going to give you chances at the other end.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for now. Jason and Stephen back with us on LFC TV and LFC TV Go from 7 o'clock tonight. Team news from Anfield and interviews as well as Liverpool take on Atalanta, looking for a place in the last 16 of this season's Champions League. We'll see you a bit later on.